Well, it's official. The Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser is being shut down, with its final voyage being held on September 17th. And this was easily one of the dumbest investment moves Disney has ever made. The prison-style luxury hotel interactive experience hybrid on paper sounds like another cash cow for Disney, but in reality it was an overpriced look into why no actual human would want to actually live in Star Wars, or pay $6,000 to stay in a sterile spaceship with fake screen windows that's really just some big gray warehouse in the middle of a Florida swamp. I don't necessarily want to make this channel theme park focused, but the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser has just been always hilarious to me. So open up your checkbook and get ready to talk about the dumbest shit Disney has ever made. So let's take it back to the lovely old year of 2017. And Disney was already balls deep in its Star Wars cash cow train for years already. Disney put out a guest survey at the time to kind of poke and see if the guests would be interested in a new Star Wars themed hotel. Obviously on paper this sounds awesome. I wonder where they're gonna make it. Like, I don't know, Naboo or Yavin, or some place in Star Wars that isn't cold and metallic. The places that actually look like a great place to stay, but also are a part of the Star Wars universe. Of course they wouldn't do this because another sin of Disney implementing Star Wars into its theme parks was that it was tied into the canon of the movies. And at that time, Disney was only on the second movie of their trilogy, so they decided to make all experiences themed between The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, which is just so random. I kind of like the Star Tours route where everything is just a combination of timelines in one, making it feel like it's a fun celebration of the franchise, but also still having that immersive experience that Disney's trying to do. And I know it's probably more immersive to have it set in a specific timeline, but this really limits a lot of opportunity within the land. Especially because everyone hates the sequel trilogy. This was already a shot in the arm for the Star Wars hotel, and the hotel ended up being announced in D23 that same year. And everyone was super excited for this new hyper-interactive multi-night experience. Then in 2019 they announced where it would take place, and it was no planet at all, and it was just a spaceship that you were staying on, similar to a cruise. And except of actually going somewhere, you just kind of pretend. I'm not going to go into defunct land detail on the history part of this because I'd rather talk much more about why this is just a colossal failure, so I'm just going to speed this up a bit. So basically concept art came out and it was kind of the same normal amount of Disney misleading that you normally get with concept art, but nonetheless hype was still in the air. The hotel was scheduled to open in 2021, but due to the old pandy-wandy, they delayed it until 2022. In 2021, however, people finally got to see how much it would cost to live out your Star Wars fantasy, and it was horrible and mostly unreasonable for any normal Star Wars fan. The cost for a 2-night stay was almost $5,000, something that was definitely not worth it considering all the stuff you could do traveling instead. Like, I don't know, going to a country in the world you've never been to, or I don't know, maybe spending a night in an actual nice hotel if you're gonna go to Disney World. Like, there's many at Disney World that are way better than this, where you don't have to sleep in prison quarters with LCD flat screens for walls. The hotel opened March 1st, and of course Disney adults that work with Disney got free tickets and were giving amazing reviews, and this is of course because it was free, and those guys are always jazzed up about whatever Disney does. And it seemed like from videos though that this felt more like a Star Wars version of the Carnival Cruise Line instead of a super immersive Star Wars experience. I'm not a big fan of shows at theme parks. I find them incredibly corny. I feel like I'm seeing off-Broadway or something, and that's pretty much what the Galactic Starcruiser is, except you have to be there for 2 days straight. And no disrespect to the actors, I will get to that later. I just think it's not for me. A great way to describe the Star Wars hotel was done by someone on Twitter who compared the hotel to the prison from Andor, the work camp. The main restaurant is basically a Star Wars themed buffet, and it doesn't look like it's worth 3 months of rent. Part people seem to focus on the most is that there's blue milk on tap and you can just drink as much as you want. And the reason that's such a big deal is because it's like $6 for just a cup of it in a theme park. So people really thought that was awesome. But in my opinion, it's just not my cup of tea, and it's kind of yucky. It's a weird semi-thick consistency, and it just doesn't quite sit right with me. The food itself kind of looks like Play-Doh, and for $5,000 you shouldn't be eating Play-Doh. The experience itself looked fun and interactive, and there's a lot of fun little themed activities you can do, but they're basically all like those interactive exhibits at children's science museums where it's just flashing little lights after pressing a button, and it makes you feel like you're doing something because it's all a part of the thing you're in. but this stuff just looks kind of bad. My favorite effect in the whole thing that looks horrible is this holocron, and it's this little tiny like they open it up and they do some like Jedi ritual or something to open it up, and this tiny little hologram of Yoda comes out, and it just looks really stupid, and it's supposed to be like this big moment. And the actors are trying their best, but it's really funny. Also, there's a video of Stormtroopers who are supposed to like be taking over the ship, and one of the actors who was playing a Stormtrooper couldn't get a banner over the railing, and he just kind of starts like kicking it and flopping it around. They held mini like dance like tutorials in the like main area of the ship, led by like a cruise director, and it looks dystopian. I don't know what else to say. It looks wrong. It all just kind of feels cheap and rushed, which is a huge part of the era that Disney was in at the time. But soon, price drops for the Galactic Starcruiser began fairly shortly after it opened, and tons of people after the reveal and the first voyages canceled reservations to the hotel entirely. Disney at one point was dropping discounts left and right in order to get at least someone into the hotel. Disney was firing staff, and a lot of actors from the hotel were trying to quit, and one on TikTok was incredibly vocal about the whole situation. I'll link some of his videos down in the description, but I think they just kind of got overworked and they were done with it. I think maybe in the future this could make like a really fun restaurant thingy, but for now, rest in peace the Starcruiser. And unless you're really rich and with children or something who love Star Wars, this just wasn't worth it. So I hope this becomes something else. I don't know. I just thought I would talk about the Galactic Starcruiser for a second because it is really, really funny to me. There's just so many good clips. Probably have played a bunch of them through this video. I'll see you guys later. I hope you guys like this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. More to come.
Yes.